Hi everyone, it's Holly Marie King, and we are back with Emblem Knights, the rough draft. We're on Chapter 8, Daredevil. So, why don't we just go ahead and jump right in? It's gonna start getting bad. It'll be fun, I promise. It'll be so much fun. Chapter 8, Daredevil. Alright, let's get started on our activities after breakfast, Ray said with a clap of his hands. Do this. We need to practice keeping our abilities as strong as we can possibly muster. And that means, Yuri asked, you just need to practice using your abilities. Like you need to be able to believe that your abilities are there to protect you, and you need to know it's breaking point. Ray explained, because if you're afraid that you can't live through something, then you won't get anywhere. But get overconfident and it could kill you. Yuri nodded. I see, she said. So how would I practice this ability? Daisuke will train you today. I'd let you work with John first, but he needs to help Joey learn how to use his abilities, Ray said. Why? Will it hurt if Daisuke uses his abilities against me, Yuri asked. No, mine's harmless. The worst I could do to you is drench you, Daisuke said reassuringly. John shook his head. I've seen you do things with your ability that would make your skin crawl, he said. What? Yuri looked concerned. What would John do to me? The only thing he could do was heal you. This is why he wanted to start with him, if his ability would be affected by him. If your ability would be affected by him, you'd feel tingly. I don't like how this is worded. So, if his ability would affect her, she would feel tingly. Is what that means. I know, I spent way too much time on that. He said, how do you know? Yuri asked him. Well, back when we were first training, I had people in my class of ability get a tingle from one of John's ability classes, and were burnt to a crisp in Roy's class ability used their fire against us. Oh my god, I don't like this, Ray explained. Yuri looked horrified. Don't worry though, Daisuke is great to have for starting out. I promise you that he won't hurt you. I give you my word that all that'll happen to you is that you'll get wet. Daisuke promised her as well. Alright, Yuri said, still a little unsure, but it was Daisuke after all. He can't hurt me. He's so wonderful. A bag landed at Ray's feet. All eyes fell to it, and then they all looked to see the person standing before them. What's this I hear about having to train two kids? A man that looked like Ray said. The only thing that looked different was the fact that he had orange hair instead of red, and his eyes were the color of brick. His shirt was open wide enough to reveal that he too had a tattoo on his chest, but his had orange flames. About time you got here, slowpoke, Ray said. He turned to the group. Yuri and Daisuke, go to the training rink and get started. John, start teaching Joey to use the flute properly, and I'll catch Roy here up on what's been happening around here. Frankly, I think that this is a load of crap, Roy shouted. Excuse me, but would you please calm down? There are those here who are easily taught how to use such vulgar language, Yuri told him. Is that so? Well, since when were you the boss? Roy challenged, poking Yuri in the chest. On the chest. You just like on the chest, not. I don't know. It just sounds weird. Yuri didn't back down. I'm not, but since I'm responsible for my little brother, I don't want people like you leaving their impression on him. She poked him back. She's poking the bear. Ray stepped between the two. Now, we have practice to do, so could we please get started? He said, knowing that his brother's temper was about to peak. Daisuke grabbed Yuri by the shoulders and led her away. John and Joey had already started practicing. What does that mean, problem? Yuri shouted, when her and Daisuke were by themselves. Daisuke shrugged. That's how he's always been. I guess we got used to it. Roy has a temper that no one can cool. That's how fire users are, he explained. Just like my kind, we're supposed to be calm and collected most of the time. It's just a stereotype that Roy so happens to fit. I don't care. He has no right to say those things. What is he, 12? Yuri said incredulously. I can spell the word, but not say it. I got over the cursing age when I was 10 years old. As I have told you, that's just how he is. You'll learn to get used to it, Daisuke said reasonably, but Yuri gave him a dirty look. Or be at each other's throats all the time. It's just how it has to be. Yuri crossed her arms over her chest. So, I guess you were all close, huh? Yeah, we had the best of times together. I'm happy to know that we're all coming back together after these 2 years, Daisuke said. It's been the longest 2 years of my life. Let's get started, Yuri said, changing the subject. She didn't want to see Daisuke sad. He's not sad. He's just excited. All right, give me your hand, Daisuke said, extending his. Why? Yuri hesitated. Look, you're just going to have to trust us. We aren't here to hurt you. We only wish to help, Daisuke said. I know you've only had bad experience with our kind, but the 6 of us won't hurt you. How can I be so sure if that's true? Yuri said, searching his eyes with hers. Betrayal isn't exactly new to me. On my honor, in the 2 years that you've known me, I place this to be sacrificed if any of the 6 of us betray you. Daisuke said, placing his hand on his chest. Now, please just have your hand. May I please just have your hand? I guess he's saying he's gonna sacrifice his heart, I guess? I don't know. Okay, Yuri gave him her right hand. Tell me if you feel this. He began to cover her finger in water. Wow. She gasped. The water just stayed on her finger, but that's all it was. I don't feel anything, though. Well, we're off to a good start. There are about 10 levels of pressure that someone with your ability has to go through to know if you can handle any kind of power or sickness that's thrown at you. Daisuke said, you just passed about 3 just now. How's that? Yuri asked as Daisuke removed the water from her finger. Well, you don't feel my power. That means you don't feel John's, which means you passed the first 2 tests, and of course the fact that your finger is bone dry is another test that you passed. Daisuke explained. Why is that passing a test? Yuri asked, not quite sure why the fact that her finger was dry was passing one of the many tests she had to pass. Oftentimes when people of your caliber are hit with an ability, you won't feel it when it hits you, but the effect of it will leave markings on you. Like if you were hit with my ability, your finger would be wet even though you didn't feel it, Daisuke explained. Now, for a full body immersion. Okay. Yuri stood as Daisuke did. Since he was a head taller than her, he could easily spread his hands over her head. He quickly framed her body with them, immersing her in water. She stood there, afraid to breathe. You'll have to breathe eventually, Daisuke informed her, smiling. Yuri kept her eyes closed tightly. It would take a lot less time if you just take a breath. But it will kill me, Yuri shouted. She quickly covered her mouth. Daisuke sighed and undid his ability. Look, part of this test is being able to breathe when an ability hits you. Hey, Ray told me to tell you that lunch is ready, Roy said as he approached them. Daisuke said a second time. We'll try again later. So how many tests did you pass? Roy asked Yuri. I don't know, 2 or 3, Yuri answered as she passed him. Daisuke put 4 fingers so only Roy could see it. Yuri's back was turned, and on account she was heading towards the house. 4? Roy mouthed in shock. He put one of his fingers, one more, he mouthed. Daisuke shook his head. No, he mouthed at his friend. Roy nodded, almost laughing at his deviousness. No, Daisuke mouthed, shaking his head. Roy turned as he nodded and threw a fireball at Yuri. It was followed by a ball of water. They both hit Yuri at about the same time. She didn't even notice that anything hit her. Hey! Roy ran after Yuri. You just passed 3 more tests right then. What? Yuri turned to face him. They were at the porch. And how did I do that? She asked as she crossed her hands over her chest. I threw a fireball at you and you didn't even notice. Then Daisuke threw a water ball at you and you didn't notice. You didn't even notice the combined forces of our power, Roy said. Yuri's face changed into shock and she looked over at Daisuke, who looked sorry. That was so cool. You know what we should do then? We should set you on fire and see how cool that is. Yuri poked Roy on the chest. How's that for cool? No problem, Roy burst into flames, making Yuri scream. Isn't this cool? What on earth are you doing? Yuri shrieked. Are you insane? Daisuke doused the flames Roy had been sputtering about. Please don't do that near my house, he murmured as he walked into the house. Look, fire has no effect on me, but water is just ridiculous, Roy shouted, half yelling at Daisuke and half explaining himself to Yuri. Sorry I lost my temper. I understand why you don't want your brother hearing pet language, but you need to loosen up a bit. Yuri shook her head at him. You're too much. She walked inside. What? Roy said angrily. I said I was sorry. What more do you want from me? He followed her into the house to eat lunch. Okay. Well, that's the end of that chapter. But, oh my goodness. I gotta stop bending like that. My body hates it. But yeah, if you guys are interested in the book, the final draft will be in the description below. And it is twice as good, if not more, than the rough draft. So if you're interested in the final, great. If not, oh well, that's fine too. But I will put it in the description below. But yeah, anyway, hopefully I will see you guys next time. Bye!